So I'm going to talk to you about Facebook ads for your business. I'm going to talk about loads of different things, and then at the end, feel free to collar me for any questions, because Facebook ads is a minefield and there's bound to be questions. There's only so much I can talk to you about in this period of time. So I'm going to talk to you about why you should use them, what you should do before you spend any money so you don't waste money. I'm going to explain to you what the Facebook pixel is, because that tends to confuse a lot of people, and then show you some of the things that you need to have in your ads to make sure that they work really well, and talk to you a little bit about budget. So just a quick introduction. I'm Laura Moore. I live in Worthing. I'm a Facebook and Instagram marketer, which basically means that I help businesses to get leads and increase sales with Facebook and Instagram ads. And so I do that by doing it for them. So literally taking on the budget and managing it all for you, or by doing training, things like this, workshops, one-to-one training and all that sort of thing. Obviously you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Have a chat with me later. Come and swipe my little Instagram profile thing if you want to connect. So first of all, why should you use Facebook? First of all, are any of you using Facebook ads? Yeah, quite a few of you. Have any of you ever boosted a post on Facebook? Do you know the difference? No, okay, cool. Right, so you should definitely consider using Facebook ads as part of your marketing strategy, because you can reach 71% of adults in the UK with a Facebook ad. Okay, that is a massive proportion of people, and it's actually the only type of advertising that you can reach so many people and get so laser targeted with the targeting. On Instagram, you can reach 42% of the UK's population, so 24 million people. That, again, is a massive amount of people. And if you're not doing that, then someone else is getting their product in front of those people, potentially your competitor. Ads still work really, really well, even though we're used to seeing them in our feeds and we scroll by them all the time. Women on average click on 10 ads a month. For men, it's around 8, but those numbers have stayed consistent for a really long time. So we're not becoming immune to them yet. And when we do start to become immune to them, Facebook will change something so that it still makes money out of us. So you don't ever need to worry that the ads aren't working, because as soon as they stop working, they will think of a way to still get our money from us. So they're always going to be working really well. But before you spend any money, and if you're already spending money, then you need to make sure that you've got these things sorted. There's 3 things you need to have before you waste any money on boosting a post or creating Facebook and Instagram ads. The first one is a mobile optimized website, because 99.9% of people who are looking at your ad and clicking through from it are going to be on a mobile. They're going to be on a phone of some sort. They're going to be really time poor. So that website needs to load really quickly, literally like that. They're not going to hang around and wait for it to load, because they'll be in a queue in Tesco's, or they'll be cooking the kids dinner or whatever, or they'll be looking in the adverts when they're watching telly. So it needs to load really quickly, and everything on that website needs to be accessible to them on a mobile. It also needs to have the Facebook pixel, which I'll talk about in a minute, and you need to have systems in place to retarget the people that are clicking your ads but are not taking the action you want them to take. So people who are clicking them but not becoming a lead for you, people who are adding something to the cart but never buying it, all those sorts of things. You need to have a system to be able to follow them up, whether it's email nurture sequences or retargeting them with other Facebook ads. If you don't have that in place, then potentially you're spending money to show someone your ad. They're looking at it, they're thinking, oh, I'm going to buy this, but first of all, I've got kids' dinner, and then they're never coming back to it. And the chances of them seeing it again are really slim. So you need to have that process in place to be able to follow them up. So onto the Facebook pixel. Does anyone know what this is? No, not one person. One person. So the Facebook pixel is a unique piece of code that is attached to your Facebook ad account, okay? And every Facebook ad account has its own unique Facebook pixel. And you will have an ad account if you've ever boosted a post on Facebook or Instagram, or if you've ever run an ad. So the pixel sits on your website. It's just a piece of code, and there's instructions on how to put it on your website. It's really easy. You can use a plugin if you've got WordPress. And it sits on your website, and it does a couple of things. It tracks your ad campaign, so it will tell you whether the money you're spending on ads is actually getting a return, because it can tell you how many people have clicked and landed on your website, how many people have bought something, all of that stuff. It can also help you to then retarget the people who've landed on that website, and haven't bought something or have added something to their cart but never got to purchase it, so you can then send them another ad. And it will allow you to create audiences of the people who've been on your website and people who are exactly like them. So if you'd had, say, 300 people on your website in the last month who were probably your ideal client, you could retarget them, but you could also create what's called a lookalike audience, whereby you say to Facebook, these 300 people were good people, go and find me more of them. And Facebook will look at all of that data that they've got in common because it knows everything we do, and it will find more people who have got really similar data points to show your ads to. So you don't have to worry about who they are.
Can I ask a question? The algorithm model that Facebook uses, since the change of ownership and them now being part of the same company, does that affect, because I've seen a massive shift in Facebook and Instagram algorithms as if there's something going on with the fact that they're now a joint company.
Yeah, so that organically, yes, there's been a massive shift, and the algorithm changes every single day, but when there's a massive change, that's when you'll notice the change. But when it comes to paid traffic, the algorithm is always going to put preference against paid traffic because that's where they make their money. So you need to remember that organic traffic is free, but it's a free platform that we just all take for granted that we should be able to get really good results from. But why should we? Because it's free. We need to be spending money in order to get the really good results. And the algorithm is always going to be weighted towards paid traffic. It's just the way that it is. So does everyone get what the pixel is? Yes, it's a piece of code. If you don't have one on your website, and if none of you know what it is, you probably haven't, the first thing you need to do tomorrow is put this on your website, because if you don't have one on your website now, it can't start to collect all that data. So if next week, next month, or a year from now you decide to run ads, you won't have all that great data. So if you get it on there now, it can start collecting all that data so that whenever you're ready to spend money, it's there and it's sitting there waiting for you, and it's got all that data so you can retarget people.
How does that affect GDPR?
You need to have it in your privacy policy. So Facebook are really hot that you have to have a privacy policy on your website for it.
I was pretty amazed how many actual web designers didn't even know about Facebook.
And most of them don't realise that it's a unique code. They think everyone has the same code.
So you have to have in your privacy policy, you need to mention...
You need to mention that you're using the Facebook Pixel to retarget people. Yeah. So the next thing to think about is how people look at ads when they go through your newsfeed. And when I tell you this, you will start looking at your newsfeed very differently, okay? Because the very first thing that you do when you see an ad or a post in the newsfeed is that you look at the image. The image is what stops you scrolling. The caption doesn't stop you scrolling, it's the image. And if it's one of your friends or family and they've shared an image, you're going to recognise them, so you're going to stop scrolling. If it's an advert, it needs to be something really bright and something that you're maybe not used to seeing, or something, even something that you are used to seeing, to try and capture your imagination so you stop scrolling. So it's the image or the video that stops you from scrolling straight away. And then the next thing that happens is that your eyes automatically will look down. And they will, on an ad, they'll see that grey bar and they'll look at the headline and any social proof. On an organic post, they'll look down and they'll look at any comments and likes and shares. That is just how our brain works. We look at the image, then we look down. And then after that, we then go back up and read the caption. Okay, so if your image isn't working really well and you then don't look down to read the headline, you're never going to then back up and read the caption. So it's the image that is key, and then on an advert, the headline is the second most important thing. And then on an advert, obviously you want them to take the desired action, so you need to have that button or a really strong call to action within the copy. So next time you're looking through your newsfeed, just take a little note of the things that stop you from scrolling, because the things that stop you from scrolling are likely to stop your ideal customers if they're similar to you. And you can try and get into their minds and think, would that stop them from scrolling too? And people scroll on their phones an average of 300 feet a day. Like, that is so far. So you need to be able to get them to stop. And that is actually an old statistic from last year, so it's probably more than that. Yeah, take a photo of that. I had dread to think how much kids scroll. So make sure that you're stopping that scroll and you're really getting their brain to stop, yeah? Because otherwise you're spending money for no reason. So because of that, you need to have that scroll stopping image or a video that's going to get them to stop their thumbs from scrolling and make them actually pay attention. So just a few examples of things that you could use. bright and contrasting colours work really well because we're used to seeing, in Facebook particularly, loads of blue. The blue Facebook logo and what have you. They've changed the layout recently, so there's not that blue bar at the top so much now, but there used to be a lot of blue. So anything that contrasted with blue would really stand out, so yellow or orange and what have you. But anything that stands out from your normal news feed will stop you from scrolling. And then photos of groups of people right now are working really well. So these are all things from Facebook. So for instance, in the first image from Bowden, they've got that bright colour because there's the pink there. They've also got a group of people and they've included some diversity. So that is going to work really well. There's also a bit of movement there as well, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. And in the other one, there's a group of people, but it's the coach sitting with her clients and they're the sorts of people that she's trying to get to. So she wants to show people who are similar to her ideal client. So if you're seeing people in a photo who are similar to you, you're way more likely to stop your scroll to see who that is and what's happening and what's going on in it. But casual photos from your phone can work really well as well. So selfies can work really well. Anything that looks native within the newsfeed, because anything that looks like an ad is likely to stop us from scrolling. Then we think, oh, it's an ad, and you carry on going. If you see a selfie of someone in your newsfeed and you don't know who they are, you're going to stop and read and find out who they are, so then you're going to read the caption. So anything that looks like it's come straight out of your phone and is you, especially if you are your brand, is going to work really, really well. And so the second photo where she's got her book, rather than just showing a photo of her book, she's got her with her book because people are going to recognise her. Ads can be 6 times more effective if they include an image of an animal or a child, but obviously only if that's relevant to your brand. Don't get some random children in your photos because that would just be a bit weird. But just a couple of quick examples. So obviously the first one here is a pet insurance company, so it makes sense for them to have a dog in it. But that's immediately going to appeal to the dog owner because you're going to stop scrolling when you see a puppy if you've got a dog. And then the other one is for a kids brand, so obviously they've got children in their photo, and that's going to appeal as well. But if for instance your ideal client is a mum and you have a child, if you had a photo of you with your child, that's going to appeal to your ideal client straight away. So if you can bring those things in, then try it. The other thing is energy and movement stops you from scrolling, even if it's not a video. So video, obviously that movement is going to stop you. If there's someone there waving at you in the newsfeed, you're going to stop scrolling, but you can bring that into a photo. So the second picture there where there's the cereal, that is a still image. It's somebody just pouring some milk, but it's putting that movement in and that will stop you from scrolling because I don't know if it's just a psychological thing and you just think maybe it's a video or whatever, but it will just capture your brain a little bit more. But you need to make sure that your images are the right size for their placement, okay? So Instagram, you want to make sure you're having square images. Facebook, at the moment, square works really well. They change it all the time. Don't bother having landscape anymore because they will crop it. And then for story ads, which are working really well right now, if you're using ads and you're not using story ads, you're missing a trick. Story ads take up that whole screen. And people are watching stories so much more than they're looking at the newsfeed. So if you're not using stories in your organic content, then you're missing out as well. Story ads at the moment, for most of my clients and for quite a lot of my friends' clients, are getting the cheapest clicks and the highest conversion rates. So if you can bring them into your marketing, then it's definitely worth doing. And then after you've got them to stop scrolling, you need them to read your copy. So your copy is really key. And those first 3 lines are really important because that is all that's going to show before they click the See More button to read the rest of the caption. So those first three lines have to hook them right from the start. And they need to speak to them. They need to be reading your ad and thinking, oh my God, how is this person in my brain? How do they know I need this? How are they talking directly to me? So questions can work really well. Are you looking for a dog walker or whatever it is? Questions can work really well and make it about them. But you always want to make sure that your copy, and this goes for your organic content as well, is about them and not about you, okay? I don't care that you've run your business for 5 years and you're a qualified coach. I care that you can help me to grow my business so I can make more money. So you need to spin it and you need to talk about how you can help them rather than what you're doing in your life and what have you. And you need to sell that experience. So sell the sizzle, not the sausage. You need to sell the benefits of what you're giving to them rather than the features of that product or that service. And the transformation, how they're going to feel at the end of it, how they're going to feel when they've used that product or they've used your service. You need to talk in their language, and I don't just mean like French or English. You need to use the language they use. So if they use a lot of slang or OMG and all that sort of stuff, use that. If they use emojis, use them. And in actual fact, even if they don't use emojis, they're brilliant for breaking up your text and making it way easier to read, so use them anyway. And Amazon is amazing for getting inspiration. Doesn't matter what you sell or what service you do, someone will have written a book about it. So if you go onto Amazon, find a book that's similar to about what you do or a product, and go straight to the reviews and read what people are saying, because that is the language that you need to use. If they're talking about they've had a Hoover and it was amazing because it got all the dog hair up and it's the first Hoover I've ever had that's done that, that can be in your copy. This is the first Hoover you're ever going to use that's ever going to get all your dog hair up, because you know that's the sort of things that's their pain points. So have a look on Amazon, see what you can pick up from there. And you can also read the description that people put in books. Obviously don't copy it word for word, but it will give you the idea of the things that they pull out to describe their books. Make sure you have one strong call to action in an ad. In an organic post, it's quite important, but it doesn't matter so much because you're not going to waste money. But you don't want to be saying, if you want a dog walker, then you can phone me or call me or send me a message or go on my website. You're going to give them one thing to do. If you want to book me, click here. Whatever it is, it's just one thing. It's not go and read my blog and then buy this product, because this blog will tell you why you need it. It's just go and read this blog, and then that blog sells them the product. Yeah, so one strong call to action. And make sure that you comply with Facebook policies. And these are quite complicated. You need to make sure you're compliant with advertising standards, obviously. But Facebook policies, just think about, Facebook wants everyone on the platform to be having a really good experience. So they don't want anyone to feel crap about themselves. So if, for instance, you were in the weight loss space, you can't say, do you feel really fat and overweight? Because that's making someone feel really bad about themselves. Instead, what you could say is, do you want a new you? I can help you to fit into your black dress or whatever it is. So you always have to twist it and talk about that transformation. And Facebook on their policies website have got loads of examples and loads of ways that you can twist things around. And some people will say to you that there's a list of banned words, but there is no list of banned words. It's just the context in which you use them. So you can't say, are you fat? But you could say, I can help you to work out how much fat there is in your cereal. So it's the same word, it's just however you use it. And then when you're spending money on ads, it's really important to be realistic about the budget. Ads are an auction, okay? And you're competing with loads of other people to get your advert shown in the newsfeed. And the newsfeed in Facebook and Instagram is really crowded. There's only so much space for paid ads. It's probably about every fourth or fifth post at the moment. Towards Christmas, it'll be more. So you're going to be competing with people to get that space. And if everything else was level, you're all competing for the same audience, you've all got the same copy, the same imagery, and the only thing that's keeping you apart from your competitor is your budget, you're never going to win that space. So just think, you're never going to get results from spending £1 a day on a Facebook ad. If you spent £10 a day for a few days, rather than £1 a day for a month, then you're going to get way better results. Always, if you can, spend a minimum of £10 a day, because otherwise you're just throwing money down the drain and you're not going to get those results. And the other thing that I should say, I probably should have said earlier, is the difference between a boost and an ad is vast. So a boosted post is Facebook showing you that blue button saying people who have promoted things like this have got it in front of 1,000 more people than you, and they're getting great results. A, they don't know if they're getting great results because they don't know what their business model was. And B, it's just a way of you giving your money to them. They want your money. So if you're going to boost a post, you only ever want to boost a post that's working really well for you. If you've got a post that you really want to show people and no one's commenting on it and no one's liking it and your reach is 20, spending money on it doesn't mean that's going to get better. It just means you're spending money to show that post to more people who don't care about it, who are never going to comment on it and they're never going to like it. So if you're going to spend money on boosts because it's easy to, then boost a post that's doing really well. If you've found a post and loads of people are commenting on it and loads of people are clicking through to your website, that is the one you want to boost because it's already working. So boosting it will show it to more people, so hopefully it will continue to work. However, the best thing to do is to create a Facebook ad because you get way more targeting options, you get way more control over your budget, and your ads will show in more places. So you want your ads to show in stories, you want them to show in Instagram, you want them to show in the Facebook newsfeed for mobile and for desktop, you want them to show in the marketplace, and you want them to show in Messenger. At some point they'll be showing in WhatsApp. That doesn't all happen when you create a boost. And a boost is way more expensive than an ad. An ad's more complicated, but you get much more bang for your buck. So it's definitely worth trying to understand how you can do that. And there's loads of free ways that you can learn how to use Facebook ads. The Facebook Blueprint is a really good place to start. But I would definitely suggest, if you are already spending your money on boosts, then definitely learn how to use Facebook ads. So before we finish, a little bit of fun. Now that I've taught you all of that stuff, I want to know, do you think this is an ad or is this just really bad? So let me know what you think and then I'll tell you. Anyone?
I think it's bad
Why?
because it's blue.
Right.
Motion campaign doesn't actually tell us what it is. There's 3 lights and there's no busyness at the bottom.
No question.
And it says the only reason I'm fat. Well, I haven't read any past that because it's boring. I don't want to know the only reason I'm fat.
So yeah, so I agree, it's bad. The photo's great and it did stop me scrolling, that's why I screenshotted it. But what has it got to do with the message? Like, it's not even relevant. So the whole thing's confusing.
It's not real.
It's a real advert.
Not that.
It's a real advert. Someone spent money on that. Yeah.
I've got to read it again now that you know it is real.
Yeah. Like, why would you spend money on that? So who are they talking to? What do they want you to do? Why? The button says send message, but why do I want to send them a message about?
We all want to know what it is, don't we?
I didn't. I should have done. So that is probably a boosted post. Someone's wasted money showing that to more people because who cares about that? No one.
So that, I think, might have been where they paid for it from Instagram, because that looks very Instagram, and then, but they
Possibly.
paid it with Instagram
Yeah,
and
possibly.
Facebook.
But even on Instagram,
It's still rubbish.
it's
yeah.
still rubbish ads. Like, it's just, I don't get it. What about this one? Ad bad.
I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
I like the emojis, the paw prints.
Yeah?
Easy to read. There is no question there.
There is no question, no.
I find any question ones get people's involvement.
Yeah, definitely.
So I every single thing which I put up on my Facebook page has got a question,
Yeah.
and some of them are so cringe, but they're not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
I'm
That's definitely a good way to get
so-
engagement.
that's got the word disrupting at the top.
Yeah.
That's going to get nearly everybody's attention straight away.
Yeah.
Who could scroll past that little face?
Exactly. And I own a dog, right? So this was really good because it's got great colours, it's got a lovely dog, it talks to me because I'm a dog owner. Also, it acknowledged that I've been on their website. So this is them retargeting me with a pixel. So I've been on their website and I went on their website deliberately to get this ad in my feed. They've got really good emojis and they've got really good key information of why I should buy from them. So although it's not really great copy that's like really inspirational and stuff, it's to the point. It gets the message across. And then this is the last one. So this is from a hairdresser in East Grinstead. What do you think about this? I hope this is no one's business.
Well, she's got 2 call to actions.
I find the text is, the white text
Yeah,
is a
you
little
can't
bit that's
read
lost.
it.
You
can't see it. Yeah.
Even looking at it, I'm thinking they're advertising the business, not recruiting. You
Yeah,
have to read
exactly.
it carefully before you realise that.
Yeah,
But you'd stop if you were a hairdresser, wouldn't you?
possibly.
Would you?
I'm not a hairdresser. So why did I see the ad for a start? Because I'm not a hairdresser. So their targeting is massively off. They're spending money to show an advert about recruiting hairdressers to someone who's not a hairdresser. So that's a waste of money. And the copy is all about them, so it's like they're looking for somebody to join their team.
But someone's daughter might be a hairdresser, so it's quite good to
Yeah, that
put it
is-
out there.
yeah,
because if you
definitely.
know someone. who
But if
could
I
be
was a hairdresser, would I go all the way to East Grinstead when I live in Worthing? No.
So if they were your client and you were doing this for them, you would start small and then expand your reach?
Yes, I would
so you
start
target
this
just
their local
hairdressers?
hairdresser. Well, if I was recruiting, I would just target hairdressers. If I was doing it to get clients, I would just target their area and I wouldn't narrow it down.
So how targeted can you be?
You can be really targeted.
With hairdressers, because they are actually my clientele, there are so many different targeting things. Hairdressers, hairstylists, hair colourists. There's actually about 40, 50 different things.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want hairdressers on my as my thing. I want more than one business. I've now stopped doing the targeting so closely because through our Facebook adverts, my target market is women over 45 who have a dog.
Yeah.
So I don't
But
actually
live locally to you.
Within
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
within
perfect
30
targeting,
minutes.
just your local area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
perfect.
anyone who's got a pet is welcome in my studio. But occasionally, if I've got, say, I want to work with a business and put on an event with them, I will then target the kind of businesses which I want to work with. Hairdressers is one of them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my take on this ad is that it looks like an ad for a start, because it's got all this text over the photo, which you cannot read. And they've asked you to drop them a line or email them, but there's nowhere that I can copy and paste their email or their phone number, because they put it in that photo, and I can't even read it. And then they've got the send message button. So instead, they should have just had send us a message, because they've got that button there. But also, they've got a ton of hashtags. And hashtags only work on Instagram for a start. Don't bother to put them on Facebook, they just make your post messy. And if you're spending money on an ad, you don't want people to have somewhere random to click over to. You only want them to click to your website or to your messenger. So if you've got hashtags on there, or you're tagging someone else's business, you're potentially going to lose them because they're going to go somewhere else. So never have hashtags on there either. So that is it. Feel free to come and find me on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Anytime you've got any questions, just
Thank you
send
so
me a
much.
message.
I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.